It has been a strange and shocking week for classic Warcraft fans. Last week, a supposed leak spilled out about a possible Warcraft 2 remastered announcement at the 30th anniversary of Warcraft event, and while skeptical due to Blizzard's record, I remained optimistic. I didn't quite know what to expect from a Warcraft 2 remaster. The graphics, I think, have aged quite well, the controls are solid, and I doubt there'll be any actual content or balancing. I expected to see just a poster and a date for release in 1 year or two. Boy, was I surprised. Well, I watched the event on the train home, and the first thing out of the gate was not only an announcement for Warcraft 2 Remastered, but also Warcraft 1 as well, and they would both be released. Now, Warcraft Reforged even got a 2.0 upgrade with some cool options and features. So I ran home and booted it up, turned on the stream, and played for around 6 hours. The question is it worth it? First off, it will set you back about $50 Canadian if you own none of these titles. But since I owned Reforged already, I only had to pay $30 for the battle chest. Someone in my chat said if you owned Warcraft 1 or 2 on Battle.net, you even get further discounts. So far, so good. So there's a lot to talk about here. Also, I didn't play a lot of Warcraft 3 Reforged and the update, so I can't really comment too much on them. I'm more of a Warcraft 1 and 2 guy. I've not made a review on my channel before, but these games fit the bill and I had to do something about it. My history with the classic RTS Warcrafts go back to the beginning. 30 years ago, I, baby Admiral Iddy, sitting on a stool watching my dad play Warcraft 1. Picking up and playing Warcraft 2 DOS on my Windows 95 when I was in elementary school, I loved all the Blizzard RTS games. I did not get sucked into War 3 as much as 1 and 2, but it still was a great game. I play both War 1 and 2 almost yearly, and without Warcraft 2, my YouTube channel would never have taken off like it has. My deathless run of Warcraft 2 was the birth of Admiral Iddy. Needless to say, this series is very close to my heart, and I want to try not to be blinded by nostalgia. I don't want to hate it just because it isn't what I remember, nor do I want those rose-tinted glasses to shift my opinion. So let's start with Warcraft 1. Warcraft 1, I did not know what to expect at all. It hasn't aged gracefully. It still looks great to me, but the controls are awful. The pathfinding is hysterical, and the multiplayer is a nightmare to get working. Booting up War 1 Remastered, I noticed the intro cutscene did not look great. There were some strange textures and almost a GIF-like look to the flames on the torches. The main menu looks good though. Campaign choices and even mission selects, which are a welcome sight. First mission. There's no animation into the intro. Warcraft 1 had an iconic briefing room for orcs and humans. This knight chewing his turkey leg and the conjurer sniffing while the narrator gave you your objectives. Bro ain't chewing anymore. The conjurer's gone clean. The intro is now just a static image with a weird paint overlay on it, like one of those gross Photoshop filters. The font and scrolling seem lazy too, not even stylized at all. So far, not a good start. They even cut the map animations of the 3D images filling up the tactical board. I always loved as a kid seeing how far I was progressing by how much of the map was being filled. Okay, it's time to see the game in action.
Hold on to your butts.
Well, wow. I didn't know what to say at first. To start, I did not know how they would remaster the graphics. War 1, while beautiful for its time, has not aged as well as War 2. Distinct pixelated sprites and animations, I wouldn't even know where to start myself. My first thought when seeing this was, this looks like a mobile game, or one of those fake game ads you see on Facebook or Reddit. Craft of War, the bestest game on machine game console. But, ooh, what is this? Right click? Oh, my lanta? Honestly, this is worth the price out of the gate. Warcraft 1, remember kids, was made in a time long before the Golden Age, when mice sometimes had one button on it, so you had no right-click movement, or even quick click and drag to select units. It had no double-click select or control groups either. Now, it does. You can right-click, you can control group, and now you can select 12 units at a time. 12. OG was 4, so controlling large armies was a goddamn catastrophe that would make you want to throw your PC out the window. Just look at my Warcraft 1 Deathless and Footman-only runs to see me lose my goddamn mind. The options in this game are nice. There are different zoom levels, from breathing in your mouth to so far out you don't even need to scroll the map. There are health bars that can be toggled on or off, and you can select the DOS music or modern. The game fundamentally is exactly the same. Just as with their StarCraft remaster, there are no balance changes or pathfinding or AI changes whatsoever that I noticed, which I feel like was a wasted opportunity. I'll get into why later. There are control groups, right-clicking as mentioned before, and even an attack move. It's dog shit and it barely works, but it's there. A good feature is F5, or this button here, which allows you to switch between the old and new graphics to see what the difference is. You can even see enemies' production progress, which I'm not sure if is a mistake or not. Another feature I like is the fact that now there's a lot of more tooltips, so upgrades from the blacksmith and spells on your spellcasters actually have a very detailed description. +2 damage to this. Did you know that upgrading your axes upgrades the attack damage of your warlocks and necroyalties? Ugh. And before you ask, no, they did not add any modern features like queuing units, shift commands, auto repair, auto cast, group casting, casting wild mages or in a group with non-mages. You can hotkey buildings though now in both Warcraft 1 and Warcraft 2, and the hotkeys themselves are displayed clearly on the interface instead of having to hover over them. I am not a fan of these sprites. I'm not sure what to think. They seem a little cartoony for what I picture Warcraft 1 and its tone to be. The body parts seem to be disproportionate. I mean, this archer has huge arms and his legs are teeny tiny. The animation of walking seems awkward too, not smooth. Look at the difference between the old and new with these archers' movements. He seems so much cleaner in the old style. And these peasants chopping wood, holy shit! What's going on here? Looks like they only have 3 frames on their sprite sheets, which isn't enough for the animation. It's just cycling between 2, one for chop and one for not chop. The buildings look strange too, almost like they aren't attached to the ground. Maybe it's the color difference between the grass and the sprite, but it seems like they're floating in the air. The orcs actually look a lot better than the humans, especially the spellcaster. They actually look really solid. And oh my god, what do they do to my water elemental? Where are my pixelated water titties? They are eyes now? This sprite legit looks bad, like some Pokemon fan picture. Some are good though, like the human and orc catapults have their own skins, which match the concept art. So it's like, the idea was there. I'm not usually a guy to throw around the AI blame game that everyone seems to resort to nowadays. Any kind of art or writing that is bad is blamed on AI, and I think it's a bit silly. However, this game kind of gives me those vibes. I don't know exactly what it is, but the art style just doesn't fit. The footmen and the knights' helmets, they look maybe they're too big. They kind of look like Shovel Knight. Now, I know this is going to sound like I'm a bit nitpicky or maybe a bit of a jerk, but I consider myself Walter White, and Warcraft 1 and 2 is my meth, and I just want it to be perfect. This is just a summary of my thoughts after a few hours of playtime. I can actually see myself maybe growing to like these sprites as time goes on. Maybe I'm just being harsh because it's a first impression. Overall, I can't say I like the updated graphics, and that's not just being a hater. I am one of the few people on this planet who actually likes the reforged models. Don't at me, I am not a WoW guy. I never really played WoW, so I never got into the WoW aesthetic, which always seemed a bit more cartoony compared to like the concept art for Warcraft 1 and 2. But that doesn't mean this is not worth it. It has widescreen support, 12-man control groups, and right-clicking. Honestly, if you want peak Warcraft 1 gameplay, or are curious to visit the origins of this series, this is worth it for the price alone. Simply press F5 and enjoy. What sucks though is the lack of multiplayer. War 1 was a time of connecting phones and modems for multiplayer, and getting that working now is a nightmare. How many people forgot and picked up their phone only to be screamed at by that noise when you're trying to play a game online? GoodOldGames.com actually lets you launch a match, but it's laggy and does not run well. I would have loved to have seen a little update to this system. Built-in multiplayer with maybe more modes or team games or scenarios. Wargus on the Strategist engine has 8-player multiplayer with neutral creeps and custom colors. With a company as big as Blizzard, I don't see why they couldn't get a little more bang for our buck. I would love to play War 1 multiplayer, or even cast some games, but we didn't even get an option in the main menu. Not a deal breaker, but it seems like a surefire win if they included it. So yes, Warcraft 1 Remastered. I say buy it, graphics and all. If you don't like them, turn them off. More games need this, a simple toggle for things. But how is Warcraft 2? So, The menu is great so far. Campaign choices, mission selects, the briefing is okay. So how does the game look? Well, I'll be damned. It caught me off guard at first, but I will say this. I dig these new sprites. The terrain looks good, the sprites are good so far, except the peasant chopping wood. What the fuck is going on here? He's bopping to his favorite tunes while chopping. Overall, the graphics I think look really nice. The ships especially, I liked a lot. They even have a little water trail behind them as they move. It would have been nice to just have more though, which is the theme here. The remaster is very mid to low effort, like you were late handing in an assignment so you followed the rubric and slapped it on the teacher's desk. Solid 60% passing grade, young man. Imagine if they had building animations like in StarCraft with lights and mist coming from them as units are trained. Imagine when you upgraded your elven archers to rangers, they got an updated sprite with a hood. Wait, this already exists. As a fan mod, they even have paladins with glowing eyes and ogre mage eyes that turn blue. This is what I'm talking about. If these modders could do this easily, why not a titan of the industry like Blizzard? With their income, I don't see how this could have been a problem whatsoever. The heroes don't even have their own custom sprites either. I mean, what a waste. Alaria is still just another elven archer. Danath is still just another footman. It's a damn shame. Overall, the graphics look good though. Except for the knight and the ogre. They just don't look right. The knight's head looks huge and his hammer looks like a Looney Tunes prop, and the running animation just doesn't work. The ogre, on the other hand, looks almost overdrawn, with the outline being so pronounced. Oh, and they put pants on my Griffin Rider. No pants on the ogre, but that dwarf butt was too hot to handle. Free the cheeks, or give them all trousers. This takes me to balance, and nothing is new here, which means the meta is still Bloodlust Ogres for the win. I was really hoping for some balancing so humans are viable in multiplayer, or spell casting would be easier to pull off, but nope. Same limited controls and the same game balance. They did not even fix the ranged AI, so your archers and dragons don't deer in the headlights when a new target comes into range. Anything new to make the game a little bit more asymmetrical, you know? Maybe an extra armor on the footman. Maybe Bloodlust makes your ogres take more damage as much as give it. I don't know. I'm just spitballing. So how is multiplayer then? Well, it works. Quite well too from what I played. It was easy to host and join matches, although the options are highly limited. There are no private or public matches, so you can't host with a password for your friends, and there is no in-game alliance options or vision sharing. So you cannot host a 3v3 and then have two people spectate without giving away your location. And without an observer option, like they added to StarCraft 1, it makes casting or watching multiplayer matches needlessly difficult. There are no even saved replays, so you can't watch your games afterwards. Just little things that they've already done for games like StarCraft that they haven't added here. It just seems lazy. There are no options for alliance chat without hitting Control-Enter every time, so miscommunication will be an issue. The War 2 USA server I play and cast matches on has more features than this remaster, and it's just too bad again. Apparently this game had a massive multiplayer scene back in the day. It would be great to see it again. Custom games are exactly the same. There are no options for teaming up with AI, save for making a map in the map editor, which we will get to. The AI itself seems exactly the same, except it doesn't break with the save and load glitch like the old ones. You can set up comp stomps in multiplayer now, and even give your team AI allies, but they still suck and operate as if you are an enemy, sending troops to your base, clogging up your shit while they get blasted in the ass. The multiplayer suite is bare bones, unfortunately, but in the end it does work, and it does allow you to play with people. I was creating and playing 8-player games with almost no lag or hassle. Broken record here, but it just could have been more. There isn't even a ladder or record keeping, nothing to keep track of your wins or losses, just no spectators, better AI, no in-game alliance options, no modes like top versus bottom, free for all. You have to select 8 different teams for FFA. There are barely any options at all. The AI factions aren't even labeled correctly in the scoreboard. Literally every nation and clan is wrong, and the lore nerds like me, who love how they were originally color-coded, will get really mad. This takes me to the map editor. Hey, do you remember the map editor for OG Warcraft 2? Well, you have seen the map editor for Warcraft 2 Remastered. It is the same map editor down to the same Windows 95 ass interface and font. Nothing new here, no trigger editors, no custom campaign options, no sprite customizations, nada, zilch. It does mean you can port old .pud maps into this one easy enough, but man, I was hoping for some custom scenario options, like maybe orc heroes can regenerate health, or maybe allow us to tweak spells like Bloodlust so we can bounce the game for you. I maybe just had higher expectations for these, like not even any single-player maps or scenarios, but that's what I get for hoping. At the end of the day, are these games good? Yes, the best and most functional they've ever been. Are these worth your money? Yes. I think these are the standard ways to play these games now. Whether or not you like the aesthetics, you can simply turn them off and play just as you did long time ago with updated resolutions and controls. Could these have been insane if they gave the love and attention that, say, Age of Empires Definitive Edition have? Oh my god, yes. Age DE is the essential example of how to do a remaster right. That game has surpassed the original in content, modes, ladders, tournaments, and I feel like Blizzard could have had their own masterpiece here. Age of Empires 2 even ported Age 1 into the Age 2 engine. Imagine playing Warcraft 1 in the Warcraft 2 engine. Although, this is the closest I will be to my dream project of having Warcraft 1 versus Warcraft 2, just like the StarCraft 1 versus StarCraft 2 custom mod. And imagine more campaigns, more units, maybe some different sprites or even races. Imagine a dwarf race in Warcraft 2. Oh yes, there is one, in a fan mod. Blizzard, hire these guys, holy shit! I had a lot of fun in these remasters, and I'm glad they exist. Any attention to Warcraft 1 or 2 is a win in my books, to bring new and old fans back to these classic games where they have sat dormant for far too long. I personally don't like how War 1 looks, and I'm disappointed in the lack of features and cut content like these animations, but at the end of the day, Warcraft 1 and 2 Remastered is certainly worth checking out. Thanks for watching. This will be the first time I've ever done a review, so let me know how it turned out in the comments. Maybe I'll do some more someday. Hopefully I've inspired you to either purchase or hold off for now on these games. When it comes to remasters, these two are definitely on the lower end of the spectrum, but at the same time, I had fun. There's still Warcraft 1 and 2. You're not going to get Age of Empires Definitive Edition here, and I don't think we ever will when it comes to these classic Warcraft games. See you in the next time.